Hello, hello, and welcome to the Aligned Human Project. Before we begin, I want to ask you something. When you feel overwhelmed, is it just mental? When you feel anxious, is it just emotional? When you feel exhausted, is it just physical? Or are all three happening at once? Because what if your body, your emotions, and your energy are not separate systems? What if they're one conversation? Today, I want to bring together something ancient and something modern, traditional Chinese medicine and field and form. And I want to show you how they are describing the same reality from two different languages and how we can use them together to both alert us to the misalignment and then support us in moving back into alignment. So if you find yourself often in a state of stress, whether that is feeling worried or overwhelmed, resentful, angry, anxious, panicked, maybe disappointed in the world around you, or maybe it's fear, then this episode is for you. Stay tuned, and we're going to get through all of this together. Welcome to the Aligned Human Project podcast, where consciousness meets creation and hustle gives way to harmony. I'm Elgin, contrarian soul guide, spiritual CEO, and founder of Practical Spiritualism. This is a space where we explore what it truly means to be human, aligned, awakened, and in flow with the field of life itself. Together, we'll bridge science and spirit, energy and embodiment, purpose and prosperity, so you can remember who you are beneath the programming and reclaim the power to create in full alignment with your soul. Because the next evolution of humanity isn't out there, it's in here. This is the Aligned Human Project. Okay, so in traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, the 5 elements are not boxes that you fit into. They are phases of movement. They're energies. They describe how energy moves: upward, outward, centering, releasing, and storing. And just like field and form, field is unseen potential, and form is expressed movement. The elements describe the bridge between the two. Each element is a creative style. Each element expresses distortion when misaligned, and each element expresses mastery when it is aligned. And here's the synthesis. You don't fix the organ, you realign the field. Then the form follows. The 5 elements are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And they each have organs, sense organs, and stress patterns. One thing I want to clarify before we go any deeper into the elements. We all contain all 5 elements, just like nature does. Vision, connection, nourishment, refinement, and restoration are all part of being human. But most people have what we call a dominant element. You maybe even have 2. It's the energetic pattern that tends to lead your personality, your strengths, and your stress response. And this is something I see constantly in clients and people around me. I can often recognize someone's dominant element, not by how they behave when things are going well, but by how their nervous system reacts when life gets stressful. This is where the body becomes incredibly intelligent because each element is connected to specific organs and sense organs. So the body often gives us clues long before the mind understands what's happening. Tight jaw and headaches, wood under pressure, racing thoughts and sleep disruption, fire needs regulation, digestive issues and rumination, earth is overloaded, shallow breathing and heaviness in the chest, metal may be holding grief, deep fatigue and fear about the future, water needs restoration. And this is where the synthesis of field and form becomes powerful because the body is not malfunctioning. It's communicating. It's telling you where energy has lost alignment between the field and the form. And once you understand your dominant element, you can start recognizing their signals earlier. And instead of reacting unconsciously, you can choose the law that brings that element back into alignment. So let's start with the element that governs direction and momentum. Wood is upward and outward movement. It is vision. It's direction. It's strategic momentum. And when wood is aligned, you see clearly, you decide cleanly, and you move forward. When wood is distorted, you force, you micromanage, and you rage internally. You overplan and you underact. Physically, it's headaches, tight jaw, digestive tension, jaw clenching. Field and form translation: when wood is distorted, we try to bend form instead of aligning field. We create from force. When wood is aligned, vision flows from the superconscious and form unfolds with strategic grace. Wood expresses the law of intention, the law of becoming, the law of presence equals power. So when someone is stuck in frustration, I don't just see anger, I see misaligned direction. People with strong wood energy are often visionaries, entrepreneurs, builders, people who really move life forward. Now let's look at fire, which is connection and coherence. Fire radiates outward. It governs joy, connection, expression. A balanced fire energy radiates presence, healthy intimacy, regulated joy, whereas distorted fire is drama addiction, validation seeking, overgiving, and nervous system overstimulation. Physical signs usually are insomnia, racing thoughts, and heart palpitations. From the field and form lens, fire is coherence made visible. When distorted, we seek reflection outside ourselves to feel real. When aligned, we radiate coherence. We don't chase connection, we generate it. Fire expresses the law of resonance, the law of reflection, and the law of exchange. People with strong fire energy are connectors, the ones who bring warmth and enthusiasm into every single room they're in. Now, earth element is all about nourishment and integration. The earth centers. It digests experience. Balanced earth is emotional steadiness, clear boundaries, self-nourishment. And distorted earth, worry, rumination, caretaking everybody else, brain fog, digestive issues. Earth expresses the law of reciprocity, the law of exchange, and the law of coherence. When earth is distorted, we overgive and we under-receive. When aligned, we nourish from overflow. Earth teaches you cannot digest life if you are over-consuming it. Earth-dominant people are stabilizers, the ones everyone relies on. Now let's look at metal. Metal is boundaries and release. It refines. It asks what belongs and what doesn't. Balanced metal is clear boundaries, clean endings, and values-driven action. Distorted metal is holding on to the past, chronic sadness, self-criticism, and immune weaknesses. Metal expresses the law of release, the law of reflection, and the law of presence. When distorted, we cling to old identities. When aligned, we prune. And pruning is not loss, it's refinement. Metal-dominant people are refiners, the ones who see what others miss. Now, looking at water, which is depth and potential. Water is pure field. It governs essence, ancestry, longevity, inner knowing. Balanced water is stillness. courage, resilience. Distorted water is fear, burnout, adrenal depletion, exhaustion. Water expresses the law of being, the law of trust, and the law of intention. When distorted, we live in survival. When aligned, we create from sovereignty. Water dominant people are the deep thinkers, the strategists, and the wisdom keepers. Now, I purposely broke this up because I want to go a little deeper and enhance each of these elements. You might notice yourself, or you might notice those around you as I describe these. As I said, we each have a dominant element, and we also have all of the elements within us. It's what makes us unique. It's not as if every wood element person that has that dominant is the same. We might have varying percentages of each of the elements that makes us unique, not to mention our own experiences and the way that we see the world around us. I myself, as a child, was a fire element. And then through trauma, ended up taking on more of the parental element of wood. And still, I show very strongly as a wood element in personality. And often in physical terms, I show a lot of my fire element. So we can see that these elements really work together and they flow. Even if we're dominant in one, we could be showing our stress in another. And they tell us a lot about the organs and our experiences that we have. The reason that I wanted to show you this is because it was learning about these energies, these elements, that helped me understand myself so that I could move from where I am to where it was that I wanted to go. It is understanding myself, creating this intimacy into me see that allowed me to be more compassionate, to be more understanding, as well as understand the world around me. So instead of judging people as being wrong because they're different, it allowed me to see like, oh, that's the experience that they're having. Oh, there's that element. And when you understand it, there's no need to criticize them or judge them for being different. It's not us versus them. It's we're all in this together. Once we see that and we understand somebody's simply stressed, then we can also understand how we can be compassionate and support each other coming back into alignment. Okay, let's go a little deeper. I'm going to enhance these a little bit more for you. So the wood element, vision, direction, and decision. Wood element governs the liver and the gallbladder. And in Chinese medicine, the sense organ of wood is the eyes, which is why wood types literally struggle when they can't see the path forward. So when wood is aligned, you literally see clearly. You know where you're going. You know the next step. But when wood is distorted, the field is trying to move forward while the subconscious is resisting. And the body, well, it starts talking. You might notice a tight jaw, neck and shoulder tension, headaches behind the eyes. You might start experiencing digestive frustration, irritability that shows up faster than you would like. Psychologically, wood represents the strategist or the visionary. And when aligned, you move with decisive clarity. When misaligned, you force outcomes. And here's the field and form piece. When wood is distorted, we try to bend form instead of aligning field. We push harder. We micromanage and we try to control timeliness. But the liver's wisdom is flow. So wood alignment isn't about stopping momentum. It's about asking, is the direction aligned with my deeper signal? Because frustration is rarely about other people. It's often the body telling you that your field and your direction are out of sync. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Okay, so I worked with a client once who was incredibly successful on paper. She was running a growing company, managing a team, and juggling family life. And yet she was constantly frustrated. Her jaw hurt all the time. Her neck was tight, and she had headaches behind the eyes almost every single afternoon. And what she kept saying to me was, "Everyone is slowing me down." And she would use words like irritated, frustrated. That's wood language. When we looked deeper, the issue wasn't actually her team. It was her vision had evolved, but she was still executing an old plan. Gallbladder. Her field had moved forward, her form hadn't caught up. The frustration wasn't anger at other people, it was misaligned direction. Once we realigned vision, not just schedule, the tension in her body started dissolving within weeks. The body was never the enemy, it was the messenger. Now let's look at fire, which is joy, connection, and expression. So fire governs the heart and small intestine, as well as the pericardium and the triple warmer, or our sense of fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Fire's sense organ is the tongue, expression, speech, and connection, which is fascinating because when fire is aligned, you speak clearly, you connect easily, and you radiate warmth. But when fire is dysregulated, the nervous system overheats, and the signals will appear quickly. They will look like racing thoughts at night, difficulty falling asleep, heart palpitations, talking faster or over-explaining, and emotional spikes. Psychologically, fire is the connector or the radiant leader. But distorted, fire looks like drama addiction, validation seeking, and emotional overexposure. And here's the field and form insight. When fire is misaligned, we seek reflection outside ourselves to feel real. We look for confirmation from other people. But aligned fire does something different. It generates coherence internally. You don't chase connection, you radiate it. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Another client came to me saying she felt emotionally exhausted all of the time. She had trouble sleeping, her mind raced at night, and she was constantly replaying conversations in her head. And she kept asking herself, why do I care so much about what everyone thinks? That's fire when it's dysregulated. Her heart energy was looking for reflection outside of herself to feel stable, to feel seen. And when she learned to regulate her nervous system and reconnect with her own internal coherence, the need for validation started disappearing. Not because she stopped caring about other people, but because she stopped needing their approval to feel real. That's the difference between chasing connection and radiating it. Now, deepening that look at Earth, which is that nourishment, stability, and integration. Earth governs the spleen and the stomach. Earth's sense organ is the mouth, nourishment, and the ability to receive. And Earth is responsible for something most people underestimate: digesting life experience. Not just food, life, emotion, responsibility, information. When Earth is balanced, you feel centered, steady, nourished, and capable of caring for others without depletion. When Earth is overloaded, the body tells you quickly. You may notice bloating, fatigue after meals, brain fog, rumination, constant worry loops. Psychologically, Earth is the nurturer or the stabilizer. But distorted, Earth becomes the overfunctioner, the one who holds everything together. And this is where field and form gives a beautiful correction. Earth misalignment happens when we overconsume life without digesting it. Too many responsibilities, too much input, too much emotional processing. Alignment begins when we ask, what do I actually need to nourish myself. Because nourishment is not selfish, it's stabilizing. Earth types are often the people everyone relies on. I had a client once who was taking care of her team, her family, her aging parents, everyone. And yet she was constantly bloated, exhausted, and worried. She kept saying, I don't understand why I feel so depleted. I'm doing everything right. But the truth was, she was digesting everyone else's life except her own. Earth was overloaded. When she started nourishing herself first, and that was very uncomfortable for her at first, her digestion, though, it improved, and the worry loops began to quieten. Earth teaches us something profound. You cannot stabilize the world by abandoning yourself. Now, looking at the metal, boundaries, integrity, and release. So metal governs our lungs and our large intestine. Metal's sense organ is the nose, breath, grief, and the boundary between inner and outer worlds. Breath. And breath is powerful because it connects the inner world with the outer world. Metal is the element of discernment. It asks, what belongs in my life and what doesn't? When metal is aligned, boundaries are clear, values guide decisions, and endings happen with dignity. But when metal is stuck, the body often reveals it through shallow breathing, tight chest, immune sensitivity, chronic sadness, as well as difficulty letting go. Psychologically, metal is the refiner or the truth keeper. But distorted metal becomes hypercritical, especially inward, emotionally withdrawn, perfectionistic. And the field and form insight here is powerful. Metal teaches us that release is not loss, it's refinement. Pruning is how life grows. Metal energy often shows up in people who hold themselves to incredibly high standards. I had a client who was brilliant, capable, respected, and relentlessly hard on herself. Nothing she did ever felt good enough. Her chest felt tight all the time. Her breathing was shallow, and she kept replaying mistakes from years earlier. That's metal when it's holding instead of refining. Once she learned that release was not failure, but refinement, she started to breathe deeper, literally and emotionally. Metal reminds us that growth requires pruning. Now let's look at water, depth, wisdom, essence. So water governs kidneys and bladder. Water's sense organ is the ears, deep listening and intuition. And water holds the deepest layer of our energy system. In Chinese medicine, it's called essence, our vitality, our reserves, our resilience. When water is aligned, you feel grounded, calm in uncertainty, and deeply resourced. But when water is depleted, the signals are unmistakable. Chronic fatigue, lower back weakness, fear about the future, difficulty resting, and adrenal burnout. Psychologically, water is the sage or the guardian of wisdom. But distorted water lives in survival. And this is where field and form becomes incredibly powerful. Fear lives in the future. Power lives in the present. So when water aligns with law 3, presence equals power, something profound happens. The nervous system stops projecting danger. And the body remembers, right now, I am safe. Water imbalance is incredibly common right now. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. I worked with a client who looked successful from the outside, great career and stable life. But internally, she felt exhausted and anxious about the future all of the time. She couldn't rest, And even on vacation, she felt like she needed to be doing something. That's water depletion. Her nervous system had been living in survival for so long that stillness felt unsafe. Once she started practicing presence and rebuilding her internal sense of safety, her energy started returning. Not because life got easier, but because her system stopped preparing for catastrophe. Water teaches us that resilience doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from restoring depth. Here's where it all clicks. As you've been listening, you may have already recognized yourself in one of these patterns. Maybe frustration shows up first. Maybe worry, maybe grief, maybe exhaustion. It's not a flaw, it's a clue. Your dominant element is simply showing you where your energy moves first under pressure. Each element maps to the aligned human layers. Superconsciousness, elemental virtue; subconscious, elemental distortion; and conscious, law-based correction. You don't fix the organ, you realign the field. Then the form follows. What traditional Chinese medicine discovered thousands of years ago is something neuroscience and quantum physics are now confirming. Your emotions, your organs, and your energetic field are not separate systems. They are one communication network. Your body is not betraying you when it feels anxious, tired, or reactive. It's informing you. It's telling you where your field has lost coherence. And the moment you restore alignment internally, your physiology begins to reorganize around that signal. So the next time you feel anger, check wood. Anxiety, check fire. Worry, check earth. Grief, check metal. And fear, check water. And don't ask what's wrong with me. Ask, where is my field misaligned? You are not broken. You are moving through phases. And phases are not pathology. They are invitations. The goal is not to eliminate your dominant element. Your dominant element is your gift. It's how you contribute to this world. Alignment simply ensures that your gift expresses as wisdom rather than stress. The 5 elements are not just personality types, they are signals of energy movement. And the laws of co-creation are how we restore that movement when it gets stuck. If this framework resonates, this is the deeper work inside the Aligned Human Project. Learning how to see your body, your emotions, and your energy as one integrated system. We do 2 sessions a month, and the second session now is focused on these elements and the law, and how the law can help each of these elements come back into alignment. Because you don't fix yourself, you realign. And when the field aligns, the form will follow. Alignment isn't about becoming someone else. It's about allowing your dominant element to express as wisdom instead of stress. Alignment isn't something that you achieve. It's something you return to. You are the field. You shape the form. You are not here to fix yourself. You are here to remember yourself. Because when you align with your truth, everything else begins to align with you. If this episode sparked something inside you, hit follow or subscribe and share it with someone walking their own path of awakening. And if you're ready to go deeper, you'll find free resources, programs, and community spaces waiting for you at practicalspiritualismco.com. Remember, alignment isn't a place you reach. It's a practice you live. So keep pausing, keep feeling, keep aligning. You are the field. You shape the form.